What's good? It's Woog. How do you return to the cage after 3 years and look like the baddest man on the planet? It's pretty unbelievable. Jon Jones just stopped CYRIL GANE within like the first 2 minutes of the first round of the vacant heavyweight title fight at UFC 285. And yes, there was other big news from UFC 285, namely Alexa Grasso pulling up the big upset and becoming the flyweight champion women's by beating Valentina Shevchenko, choking her out late in the 4th round. I didn't see that coming. But I sure as hell also didn't see Jon Jones just cutting through CYRIL GANE like a hot knife through butter. This was pretty unexpected. I feel like even the biggest believers in Jon Jones, and I had Jon Jones winning, but I thought it was going to be like a disputed decision, 3 rounds to 2, split decision, something close, maybe even controversial, just disputed, one of those decisions that get discussed. I thought this was going to be one of those, and I was picking Jones largely just almost out of faith because logically, I was always pointing to so many reasons why CYRIL GANE really might have the edge here. 3 years of inactivity, new weight class for Jon Jones. He's 35 years old. He didn't look great in the last 2 fights before leaving the game for 3 years. And it wasn't supposed to be a 3-year absence when he left, but I was thinking if he's gonna be able to aggressively wrestle in the way that he was able to when he was young Jon Jones, just taking out all of the legends and even the rise up to becoming champion before the Shogun fight when he was choking out Ryan Bader and beating Masushenko and Brandon Vera and so forth. Just the whole Jon Jones experience when he was able to aggressively wrestle, get that inside leg trip, take you down, start raining just vicious cutting elbows and just having his way with you. If he wants to out wrestle you and get into just totally dominant, either side control, mount position, he was able to do what he wanted. And that's why he was largely seen as the GOAT at a certain point. And then obviously through the several title defenses and, losing the belt due to non-fight related reasons and then recapturing the belt, stopping Daniel Cormier, which was later turned into a no contest. What I'm saying is the whole time Jon Jones was at his absolute best, he was an aggressive offensive wrestler. And I don't feel like we saw that in his last 3 fights before his absence. So I was thinking if he's going to do that against GANE, why didn't he do that against Dominic Reyes? But I feel like even the biggest supporters, again, I thought Jones was going to edge a decision, who thought Jon Jones was still going to have enough to beat CYRIL GANE. Did anybody see this level of domination coming? I mean, this has to be a little embarrassing for CYRIL GANE, right? Like, this was close to even odds. Jones was like a slight betting favorite, but it seemed like as soon as this fight commenced, and yes, there was that early low blow and they stopped time for just a moment, but Jones almost looked like he didn't totally respect CYRIL GANE's power. He was committed to walking him down, like taking the center of the cage and making CYRIL GANE start to dance around the perimeter. And CYRIL GANE was kind of throwing, kind of like pawing shots and leg kicks and wasn't fully committing, maybe out of fear of being taken down because Jon Jones was telling you exactly what he was going to do. And he was, mispronouncing CYRIL GANE's name and just doing a whole bunch of things in the lead up to the fight that tells you that he was playing some mental games with CYRIL GANE. I was just wondering, is this going to work or is it not? But when you saw them in the cage and the first time CYRIL GANE throws a hard left hand, like something where he's committing to a power punch, as soon as he threw the first one, Jon Jones took his back and CYRIL GANE was flat, like within a second. It happened fast. And Jones's physique coming in wasn't too impressive. I'm sure a lot of people saw him get into the cage and thought, oh man, he looks like a retired fighter. This might not go well for Jones at all. Like, I thought he was going to struggle fighting at distance. Yes, he did look a little clumsy, throwing a couple of his lumbering shots. He did look off balance in a way. But once CYRIL GANE threw that left-handed shot, Jones kind of slipped it, grabbed his back. CYRIL GANE is flat on his belly. And then CYRIL GANE, starts working his way up. I thought he was going to actually get back up. And then I thought the fight was going to commence. Like, okay, so what happens when Jones gets the takedown, but then CYRIL GANE, the big CYRIL GANE, I'm thinking like, man, this is going to be a lot for Jones to wrangle, just the physicality, even though I think we're going to have to reassess CYRIL GANE's physicality. You know how when you're growing up, there were kids who were roughhousing, who were used to roughhousing, and you could almost tell as adults who was used to mixing it up, who had like siblings, who was, getting people in headlocks and having to fight themselves out of positions, and who wasn't. You could usually tell, within a tussle, who knows how to impose physicality, who knows how to maneuver, and who doesn't. I'm really starting to question CYRIL GANE's ability to even be proficient in some of these grappling scenarios, because it was almost like, CYRIL GANE started working to his feet, and then Jones kind of went belly to belly and had CYRIL GANE sitting against the cage, like with his back against the cage. Once CYRIL GANE was there, he was pretty much meat, and it was almost as if he wasn't aware that Jones could apply a choke from this position. Like the lack of situational awareness here was a little bit astounding, and I think that that's going to plague CYRIL GANE's reputation. I don't know if you could really correct that fully, or is it that Jon Jones is still such a physical outlier? Because I thought that Jones being 35, Jones being out of the cage for 3 years was going to. I thought this had shades of Ali Frazier 1, where Frazier's the new face, the new champ. Ali's been out of the game for 3.5 years, returns to the ring, puts up a valiant effort against the new generation, but loses via decision. And I thought it was a strong possibility that Jones would just get outclassed, but it might be a valiant effort. Like, he was showing shades of the Jones, but he just didn't have the goods on that night against CYRIL GANE. I thought that was very possible. But Jones returned to the cage looking like the baddest man on the planet. He looked like he was still just athletically superior. Even in the little boxing exchanges, Jones didn't look bad. Like, he landed a couple, shots before getting CYRIL GANE's back. By the way, Ali never did return to the ring the same guy he was before that 3.5-year ban. Yes, he did have some of his most meaningful fights and wins. The Thriller in Manila, that's the third fight against Joe Frazier. Ali won the second and third, but Frazier won that first one when Ali was basically had like one tune-up, but was just getting his bearings back. But yeah, Ali had the win against like George Foreman after the layoff, but he never was the fast-footed, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee Ali again. He was never just the athletically superior to the rest of the field Ali or Cassius Clay before that, as he was after returning. He had to develop other things. You started seeing his heart. He was a lot more reachable, hittable upon his return. I thought that we might get a more gutsy Jones, but not the same athletic freak Jones. We might still have the athletic freak Jones. Maybe it's going to take another fight to really prove that, because again, I was wondering, okay, if CYRIL GANE makes it back to his feet, okay, is Jones going to be a little tired? Is he going to go for that second takedown immediately? Is he going to just try to spam him with takedowns, which in itself is exhausting? Usually that is certainly a young man's game. But I didn't think that Jones would be able to aggressively wrestle over the course of several rounds. And I still don't know if he can. But I know he could do it for 2 minutes and however many seconds, 2 minutes and 4 seconds that it took to stop CYRIL GANE. And CYRIL GANE, after that first attempted get up and he didn't make it up, then is sitting up against the cage, there was almost no resistance beyond that point. I almost got the feeling that there was a shade of, and look, I'm not going to say CYRIL GANE doesn't have heart. I'm not going to say that. I've seen him really have to dig deep. In that fight against Tai Tuivasa, he had to get off the canvas. He got dropped badly. A lesser man would have been stopped by Tai Tuivasa that night. But I felt like this particular fight, I don't know if it was because of their personal dynamic between Jones and GANE. I don't know if GANE was just a huge Jon Jones fan before him partaking in MMA. I don't know how GANE interprets Jones, but I feel like this was almost big brother, little brother. Like, there was an air of, I don't care what you came to do tonight, I'm going to do what I want to do tonight. And there is nothing you're going to do to stop that. I thought that there was that type of nastiness in terms of in the overall determination. And I don't know if CYRIL GANE got a sense of Jones's fight spirit or fight IQ or any of those intangibles. I'm just saying, athleticism aside, like the skills aside, was there a shade of fear in this one and a shade of just deferential treatment and kind of acquiescing to what Jones was imposing, what Jones is bringing? I can't determine that. Maybe this was strictly the skills, solely the skills. And it looked like when CYRIL GANE first hit the canvas, when Jones got his back and they went forward and CYRIL GANE hit the mat hard, it was almost like, you know how if you're trying to like run and you don't know that somebody's got your like an ankle pick or something, and so you fall in a way where you almost can't even protect your fall because it happened so fast because you were sure that you had that free foot to step away, but you didn't. That's almost how hard CYRIL GANE fell when he first got taken down by Jones. And then, yeah, it was basically Jones just making sure that they did not create distance after that point, making sure that this series was going to lead to the end of the fight, and it ended up in that guillotine choke. But it just felt like as soon as Jones got his hands on CYRIL GANE, that was that. And I didn't know that it was going to be that fast and that obvious and that, I mean, damn near effortless. It was weird. Like, tell me if any of you guys foresaw this type of performance from Jon Jones. And, you know, look, I thought maybe this was just a matchup that went well for Jon Jones, and maybe it's not the case. Maybe his next fight is totally different and he struggles in all of the ways we thought he was going to struggle here. You know, one matchup that I've always thought would be tricky for Jones would be Curtis Blaydes, another kind of 6'4"-ish guy. So they would be about the same height. Jones and CYRIL GANE were the same height, but Curtis Blaydes is a wrestler by trade, naturally bigger guy with some hands. I mean, he's knocked out Junior Dos Santos, and he has been a improving boxer throughout his career. Yes, he's been stopped twice by Francis Ngannou and got uppercutted to hell by Derek Lewis, Black Beast. But matchups wise, I've been eyeballing that one, Jon Jones versus Curtis Blaydes, because when we were all kind of guessing, is it going to be Stipe, who Jones returns to the cage against? Is it going to be Francis? We didn't think it was going to be CYRIL GANE, but I was thinking, is it going to be, if it's Curtis Blaydes, you might want to put something on Curtis Blaydes, you know, if you're placing a bet, because I think that stylistically is a really bad matchup for Jones. But now I don't even know how to forecast the next Jones fight. I could only guess at this point, because I did not think that this was going to happen between Jones and CYRIL GANE. Even if I was ultimately picking Jones to win, which I did, but via close decision. I thought this was going to be a close fight that involved a lot of struggle and a lot of guts, a lot of intestinal fortitude, if you will. We didn't have to see any of that. This was pure domination. It was swift. And again, I think that this was a little embarrassing for CYRIL GANE. But let me know what you thought of Jon Jones versus CYRIL GANE. Like, was this an illusion of Jones looking as good as he's ever looked? Was this just an illusion of that because of how bad a matchup this was for CYRIL GANE? And if it was that bad a matchup, why didn't the betting odds reflect that? Why didn't the experts say, oh, Jon Jones is going to make easy work of CYRIL GANE? I got to look back and see if anybody actually called easy work. And if you did, please let me know in the comments if you thought that this was going to be a cakewalk for Jon Jones. Did not see this coming. Hats off. I mean, this is pretty unbelievable to do this after 3 years. After 3 years and look like this. Look, when Georges St-Pierre returned to stop Michael Bisping at middleweight to become the 2-division champ, remember those first couple of rounds, GSP was struggling. And I was thinking, oh, man, GSP looks like he might lose his fight via decision. He didn't do this to his opponent. And I look at CYRIL GANE as being much more formidable of an opponent than I did Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping, good fighter, very, very good fighter, and has some excellent wins throughout his career. But I feel like I speak for most MMA fans where I wasn't totally buying into Michael Bisping as middleweight champion, you know? And I mean, the time will tell what CYRIL GANE is. We've seen him already get some big wins, but damn, this was a really bad loss. And yeah, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who does Jon Jones fight next? It looks like it's going to be Stipe Miocic. How do you see Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic, who's got to be 41, 42 now? No, he's still 40 years old. He might be 41 by the time they get in the cage. Yeah, he would turn 41 in August. So yeah, we'll see how that one shapes up. And I don't know how much Stipe has left after this latest stoppage versus Francis Ngannou, and then, you know, taking some time out of the cage himself. Who knows what he's going to look like? But man, this really kind of puts the heavyweight division on its back, right? We thought we knew what we had about a year ago in terms of how things were configured, but now there's no Francis. Re-enter Jon Jones, who is now the heavyweight champion. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are into the fight talk. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.